There's a big game coming up on Thanksgiving for the Kansas City Chiefs as they are just coming off of a big victory up against the Indianapolis Colts, where they won 23-20 in overtime, winning their first one-score game of the season after coming into that game being 0-5. Now, that's in the past. It's a short week for Kansas City. They know that. They were able to walk away from week 12 with a win, but they have to go into week 13 facing off against a team that always hosts or always plays on Thanksgiving in the Dallas Cowboys. They've got a raucous home crowd that's going to make it a living hell for Kansas City. And we just have to make sure that going into the game that there are some areas that are laid out in ways that Kansas City can take down Dallas. How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs co-beat writer for On SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Now, obviously, there's a big game coming up on Thanksgiving for the Kansas City Chiefs as they are just coming off of a big victory up against the Indianapolis Colts, where they won 23-20 in overtime, winning their first one-score game of the season after coming into that game being 0-5. Now, that's in the past. It's a short week for Kansas City. They know that. They were able to walk away from week 12 with a win, but they have to go into week 13 facing off against a team that always hosts or always plays on Thanksgiving in the Dallas Cowboys. They've got a raucous home crowd that's going to make it a living hell for Kansas City. And we just have to make sure that going into the game that there are some areas that are laid out in ways that Kansas City can take down Dallas. And I think that it's been very well established all season long that, when Dak Prescott is leading the Cowboys offense, it's going to be a little difficult to stop him, specifically looking at the points put up per game average. The Dallas Cowboys sit in fourth in the National Football League as they average nearly 30 points, 29.1 points to be specific per game on offense. Whereas Kansas City, they're not too far off themselves where they average 25.2. Now, there are ways that Kansas City has been able to break down big teams like this. Specifically, going into this game, the Cowboys are a 500 team, similar to how the Chiefs are. But when you look at them on paper, things kind of look a little shaky for them, specifically the defense. While the offense is very, very strong for Dallas, their defense hasn't been, as they rank second to last in the NFL in average points allowed per game at 28.5. Kansas City, like I just said, averages 25.2 points per game, which is very encouraging if you are a Chiefs fan, especially on the road. However, this season for Kansas City has been a little bit of a struggle when playing away from Arrowhead, as 5 of their 6 wins have come in front of their home faithful. This game is crucial that Kansas City can prove that they can go into hostile territory and beat a team like the Dallas Cowboys. The way you're going to do it is you're going to have to be a defensive powerhouse. Defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, his defense was on par, very, very well performed in week 12 with the likes of Nick Bolton, Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, all of which stepping up, Jalen Watson as well. You need to have the veteran presence on the defense as well as the young upstart kind of presence to take down certain teams in the National Football League. And when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs defense, a lot of things have to go according to plan for it to pan out. Knowing that the offense for knowing that the offense for the Cowboys is very explosive and near the top in points average per game in the National Football League, it's going to be a tall task. But they had just beaten a team in the Indianapolis Colts who averages through 12 weeks 31 points per game on offense. The defense has proven that they can hold and keep the Chiefs within grasp. But just because you do it one game doesn't mean you're going to do it every game. And if there is a game to do it, it is against the Dallas Cowboys. This is a turning point in the season. While the defense needs to be strongly suited and armored up in order to take down the Dallas Cowboys offense, it is the Chiefs offense who also needs to be ready and prepared to pounce on a very weak Dallas Cowboy defense. Now, they do have the likes of certain players that kind of capitalize and help them out when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. Kenneth Murray Jr., he's got 68 total tackles, but that's the only total tackles on this. That's the highest amount of total tackles. The most sacks that they've got this season comes from James Houston at 4.5. Patrick Mahomes has been taken down more than 3 times. I believe he got taken down 4 times against the Colts in week 12, which is not good because the past 4 games he's been sacked 3 or more times. The offensive line is obviously an issue for Kansas City. It is still an issue from how it was last season. Now, with the report of Trey Smith expected to miss some time, you're going to have to toss in Mike Caliendo, who, no offense to Mike, but Trey Smith is a paid veteran who deserved the paycheck he got because of the production that he's had. Caliendo has been able to have little bursts of success and a little bit of holdback. If this is going to be a game where the offensive line steps up, it needs to be a protective unit of Patrick Mahomes, because so long as he's protected, especially against the defense and the coverage that this Dallas team has, you're going to be able to capitalize on it. You are just in charge of making those opportunities and getting those to come to fruition. Now, we have to mention the running game. Kansas City, obviously, their running game hasn't been super stupendous this season, but Kareem Hunt is coming off of a game where he had a season high in rushing yards with 104. I also think that he's been scoring, I think it's 4 straight games with a touchdown as well. So there are offensive components to work through, but the way that the Chiefs are going to win this game is to get Rashee Rice in action once more. He had a career game against the Indianapolis Colts where he's collected. I'm just going to check this real fast, so bear with me. He collected 141 receiving yards, I believe, off the top of my head. 141. Yes, that is correct. Career game for him. He did that in 8 receptions. Yeah, 8 receptions. Rashee Rice has proven that no matter what, when healthy, he is the best wide receiving option for Patrick Mahomes. You've got Xavier Worthy, who can also help out in that department. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at things, the offense runs through Rashee Rice. Xavier Worthy himself, he also had 59 total receiving yards. And Travis Kelce, in 4 receptions, he had 43 receiving yards. So there are a lot of offensive components that Patrick Mahomes needs to hit, target, and succeed with if they're going to take down Dallas. Now, I will say that it will be an uphill battle specifically because the holiday always rests in favor of the team hosting. But I would say that this is a team where the Cowboys are beatable. Sure, they've just been up on the reigning Super Bowl champions in the Philadelphia Eagles, but they are also coming into this game with a short week. Both teams should be at an even level of energy and stability, so much so that I think that this game is going to be a must-watch. One that if you and your families are sitting around the table, maybe eating some mashed potatoes and some turkey, some stuffing as well, turn on this Kansas City Chiefs game and see what's going to happen. Because all in all, if Kansas City wins this game, the landscape of the NFL in the playoff picture is going to change. That being said, be sure you follow me over on X at Dom Minchella. I post and repost every single day. You're not going to want to miss any coverage of the Kansas City Chiefs while we go into Week 13. Be sure you return to the podcast tomorrow where we will give our final game prediction. You can also follow us over at X at Kansas City Chiefs on SI, both on X and Facebook, because Kansas City Chiefs on SI is the best place to get your Kansas City Chiefs news. With that, folks, as always, be kind to one another. I'll see you tomorrow.